Well, hey, thanks for joining us again here on Main Street TV. We're always excited to let you know about things that are happening in and around the Jackson area. Coming up this Saturday, February 5th, we got another great show coming up for you at the Markay Cultural Arts Center. It involves some great rock and roll music and an awesome band that's going to be joining us here in just a couple of seconds. The name of the band is New Frontiers, and they call themselves the Definitive Journey Tribute Band. They were formed in 2015 by guitarist Jimmy Gore with the idea that music from Journey should be paid its proper due. So instead of trying to look like the band or emulate just another tribute lookalike band, they chose to focus on recreating the classic Journey sound that we've all come to know and love. So guys, thanks for joining us today.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So for those, obviously, that you guys are new to us in the area, tell us who you are, introduce yourselves, and tell us what you do in the band.
Right on. I'm Jimmy Gore, and I guess you'd call us band manager, wouldn't you call me at this point?
Band everything. Yeah.
Band everything. Yes. And this is Jason Hinkle. He plays keys and kind of produces and arranges and does a lot of studio work for all the things that we do as well.
And how many other members are there in the band?
Just like the classic Journey setup, there are 3 more.
Awesome.
4 plus 1.
So go ahead and give us their names and tell us what they play as well.
Well, our bass player is Susie Alt. Yes, she looks like a young Ross Valerie with all the blonde hair. So she's kind of, like
we call her Valerie Ross.
Valerie Ross.
And then it works
right.
better.
And Mr. Brian Binkley is on the drums, a powerhouse drummer. I think you guys will really enjoy him. He's got a kit is about a city block long, so I hope you got plenty of room there for him. He's gonna
we'll make room. There's always plenty of room for the drum set.
Yes,
that's right. All right,
he needs it. It's a big drum set.
Of course, me and Jason, you really wouldn't have much of anything if you didn't have a singer that could really hit the highs and had the tones, and his name is Cliff Stanton, and he looks a lot like Steve Perry would look now, with gray hair, as I know Steve Perry does have gray hair.
Yes.
Only his is still super long, and it's still rock and roll, still 80s style.
Yep.
Cliff brings the voice.
You're definitely not kidding about the sound, because I've in my younger years, I spent a lot of time going to hang out with friends at karaoke places, and a lot of people attempt it, but if it's not done well, it's not. It's bad.
And we discovered him. Me and Jace I think we're at a trade show with another band, and we were out at our table, kind of waiting on people to come along and talk to him and stuff. And we heard a sound check going on in the other room, and I just dropped what I was doing. I said, "Wait a minute, I need to see who that is." Right. And I ran in there, and there he was. He was singing like a Boston tune.
Yeah, Boston.
He was singing More Than a Feeling. He was hitting every note, and it was just like effortless. And we were just like, I must know who that man is, because we need to talk. Because we'd been talking about really doing a Journey band right, and with, not doing it like the cover bands do with, kind of sounds like them, but the harmonies are wrong. And there's, no proper background vocals or anything. We were about that, and then that was the missing piece. As soon as we heard Cliff's voice, we were just, well, there it is. Went in and talked to him, shook hands, and sure enough, ever since 2015, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Awesome. So now going on close to 7 years of playing the greats and I've heard some of the songs. You guys sound amazing, and I know we're looking forward to it. Real quick, I want to go ahead and tell people a little bit about the show, and then I'll come back and ask you a couple other questions, and I'll rehash this a couple of times. But tickets are available right now online, markayjackson.com, for $15 in advance or $20 the day of the show. So tell us, you mentioned a little bit how you found your vocalist, but how did you guys start playing music? I mean, when did you start playing? How long have you been playing? You mentioned that you played, together in another band. How did things start rolling with that?
Yeah, I mean, me and Jace have very different backgrounds, where we come from music. I was in a touring band in the 80s, and did that, had a minor hit, and toured all over the country and up into Canada and such. Jace's background is very different. Tell him, Jason, how you came about it.
Yeah, I'm actually a worship pastor of a church, so I lead worship, and lead bands every week, that kind of stuff, and Jimmy was my sound person, for our Saturday night service, and then I asked him to help produce an album of songs I had written, and then he asked to be part of.
You know what?
Hey, you want to do this?
Do this. Like, yep. Never looked back. And then
So
what was amazing is as soon as we started getting out there and playing it, our first night we went out. Nobody really knew who we were yet, but it was packed.
yeah,
And it had nothing to do with us. It had to do with the music.
Right.
You know, they were like, Journey, really? Who doesn't want to see that? And you know, all you have to do is you have to be good at it. You know, you have to represent it. They have to walk away going, wow, that was just like what I remember in high school. You know, the music that I remember is done the way that I would want to hear it. And but the music itself and Journey, it takes care of itself. People want to see that. And now we have 7 tributes in our agency. That's one of 7.
that was the first one.
That was the first one.
And now we have a lot more.
Yeah,
other
we
ones.
have a lot more. So we have a stable of about 25 players that work in our agency and do different projects with us and take care of each other. We're a family, and you know, somebody's sick or somebody needs help, then somebody else
jumps in
helps.
there.
And but you know, this band, this is our core band. You're going to see the core of where all of that began, and this is a good, solid crew and good people, and I believe entertaining for you guys.
And I've been together since the beginning. Haven't been any new people or anything. We've been together since we started.
This family has stayed strong.
Yep.
Awesome. And you kind of hinted this, I think, a little bit with your last answer, but why Journey? I mean, there's so many great classic rock bands out there, so many great rock and roll bands. What is it about Journey that just makes people go, wow, I got to see this, or I got to hear this?
Well, I think the biggest thing is me. I loved them.
Yeah.
And I love them. And I was like, that's the one that I thought. I mean, I tried to hone my sounds around Neil Schon.
Yeah.
And I was trying to sing like Steve Perry. And that's the thing that I loved. And so I thought, man, I just love to find a way to bring all this music, because I love all of it, not just the hits. I mean, I know it all.
Yeah.
I know all the music. I've heard it all. I've heard the Perry albums. I've heard it all, you know, and I love it. And so I guess the biggest thing is I was selfish in that I wanted to do it. And then I found that I was not alone. You know, there's all these other people that wanted to hear it as well. But that's why Journey. And then of course we have other ones now. You know, we have Toto and Fleetwood and Doobies and Eagles and Pearl Jam, Stone Temple. But this one is the flagship. You know, this is the one that started first, and this was our original love. You know, and still is. We still love playing this stuff.
Yeah, it's still fun.
It's a blast.
Many years later.
Awesome. And now, okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit more specific then, because there's quite the library of music that Journey has put out over the years. And if you had to pick a favorite song to perform, what would it be from Journey, or do you have one?
Oh man, that's like
I know it's tough.
well, I love tacos. You know, kind of good Italians are good. It's like, okay, you got to choose between tacos and Italian. Depends on the day.
Okay.
No, I mean, me and Cliff a lot of times will say that we love to play "Send Her My Love." Just something about the beauty of that song. Journey had both a beautiful side to their music, but yet they had a fire to their music as well. And they could be bluesy, or you know, there's so many sides of them. So you know, if I had to pick one myself, I always love playing that. But I love playing Stone in Love. You know, I love the energy of that. You know, I mean, that's a hard question right there.
Is that probably your favorite one to listen to as well? Yeah.
Answered it a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason?
How about you, Jason?
I love Stone in Love too. Cliff, it's a hard song.
Oh,
so
it's hard.
If Cliff ever tries to bow out of that because it's so high, we make sure that it happens because it's such a great song.
Yeah, I'm his helper. I'm Daddy's little helper.
He does. If it's a little bit.
So yeah. So that, you know, I think that's the thing that ruined Steve Perry, you know, in the later years, is they you know, didn't have as much help as they do now. They have Dean Castronovo, which is, fabulous. He can jump right up there and help.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I mean, nobody else was really singing anything like that. And that's really hard on one guy. I mean, it's hard on two guys. I'm here to tell you, we're both batting it out, me and Cliff, and I'm doing all the high harmonies and stuff, and then also jumping in on some lead and helping him. And it's still, we're like worn out sometimes. We're like, we're both looking at each other just like, and, when we're trying to bring that stuff, I mean, we're looking at each other, I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and it's like, okay, you got this? Okay, no, you take this line, I got it, So we're both kind of batting away at it.
It works well.
It's the only way you can, I think,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if people come out this weekend, tell us a little bit about what they can expect. I mean, obviously a great night of music, but what can they look forward to?
Well, you can look forward to us bringing all the songs that they want. I say all. I'm going to miss one. Somebody's going to go,
you didn't do
that one.
Like, gosh, yes, but I always note that and put that on my list in my head that yes, I was asked about that, and it's important to people. But what they're going to hear is all the spectrum. They're going to hear everything from real big hits, all the big hits, to some very deep cuts. For example, Patiently. All right, there's a deep cut from Infinity, right? And it's poignant because it's the first song ever that Neil Schon and Steve Perry wrote together, right? And so it's the very first, if you want to look at it as the very first Journey, Steve Perry Journey song. He wasn't even really in the band yet. They wrote it in a motel room as he was coming to watch the first show, right? And so, I mean, just things like that. So we try to do a little history in there and give people a little bit of the education, at least as we know it. So it's kind of a history lesson as well as a, timeline, if you will.
And now one of the things that you mentioned just a couple seconds ago, you said that, it's someone will always mention one that maybe you didn't play that they wanted to hear. How do you maintain a library like that? I mean, to know what to pick from and what to play or not play, because there's so many through the years, and then to try to remember that as a musician, or does it just kind of become muscle memory and you go, oh yeah, I remember how to play that, or do you just kind of roll with it and whatever happens, sometimes it just happens that way?
Well, that's a good question, man. It comes down to going through your repertoire, making sure you go through all of it. I try to run these shows every time before I play them. I run the whole show for me personally. And if we've had a little bit of a break over a vacation or something like that, we try to put it back in the room and we try to go through and maybe pick up new songs. But a lot of the times we're just playing quite a bit. I mean, and so it stays warm, I guess you would say, because we keep playing it, But if we get like a 2 or 3 month off kind of thing, which is, other than, the COVID days, I mean, other than that, I mean, we stay pretty busy. And plus we got all these other bands going too. So imagine having to keep one show is hard enough, but having to keep 7, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially with as many bands as you just mentioned there, and as many of the great bands that have such extensive libraries themselves as well. So let's talk a little bit about the last couple of years with COVID. How were you guys able to maintain your connectivity and playing together and still being able to keep that unity that you would have had, going from traveling on the road and playing a bunch of shows to basically saying, hey, sorry, can't perform anywhere right now?
Well, I guess the good thing is that we all have our day jobs. We all do things. I'm a music teacher, Jason being a worship minister, and so on. Most of us are teachers, But we one key to this was building this room right here that we're setting in. This is used to be a school, right? And this is the band room of a school, and now it is ours. And this is where we build our music studio, and this is where we do our video work. And so what we did is we just jumped into video mode. When it went down and nobody could play out, we just started, doing our videos and streaming. So there's streams out there, where we were still coming to people. and we were making our videos, and we stayed pretty busy actually that year.
Awesome.
Just here, mostly here.
Yeah, in the space.
That's
So
amazing.
it's been,
So, on a good year, how many shows would you say that you play if you had to guess?
With all our bands?
well, with all our
I
bands,
guess yes.
it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon to do three in a row.
Wow.
3 days
On a weekend,
on
yeah.
a weekend, and especially in the summer.
Typically,
really comes
3 in a
down
row.
to, I look at the schedule and I think, is this the one that's going to kill me? Am I going to actually survive this? Because, we're older guys, we're not, kids anymore. We act like kids, and we, have the maturity of kids, I think. But so far as our age, the body part of it, we can't just, you have to be responsible about it. And there's some times where, I put it on the calendar and it all looks good until I have to run the race with it, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Especially, okay, 3 nights in a row. Here we go, Stone in Love.
Or we've done we've done 2 in one day where we'll do this and then we'll go do the other band.
Yeah,
same,
and it's
same
not
day.
uncommon for us to be doing a show and then running, to the other
next
side
one.
of the state or to the next state over and doing a different band.
Yeah.
Because we've picked things that a lot of them are hot things. Doobies and Eagles and Fleetwood's pretty hot. I mean, everybody wants to hear that music. But I guess the way we do it is we try to be sensible about it. We don't typically find ourselves with too little shows. It's usually somebody going, hey, I got this thing, man. You were trying to kill me over here with the schedule. It's more like that. So we do as many as we can without, leaving the planet, I guess.
Yeah, we still do our cover band too, the Hypnotics.
We just played with Night Ranger.
Just played with Night Ranger, open for them the other night.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Saturday night.
Did some original tunes then.
Yeah, which we never get to do, so that was kind of a nice break. Not too often to play your own stuff. We have, albums of that too, but typically, we're out there to play the songs people know. And especially, now these tributes, people are going, man, I'm getting older, man. I just want to hear what I listened to in college or high school. I just want to go back to those days. I want to hear those songs again. And you know what? We want to play those songs.
Yeah,
we don't really. I mean, Bruno Mars is great, but I don't know that I'm the delivery mechanism for that. I think probably somebody that looks a little more like that, it's a little more fun, in their dance moves than me, might be better. And I think I'm better at Neil Sean.
Although we have done, we have done one Bruno Mars song as well.
But I mean,
we fucked people up.
But Journey's one of those bands. Journey's one of those bands that is gone beyond generations. I mean, it helped a couple of years ago, obviously, when Glee covered it. Well, when it first came out, but I mean, who hasn't heard the bigger hits that they've had out there? And so it's moved beyond. Even my daughters, who would look at what I listen to and go, "Why would you ever listen to something that sounds like that?" I can put on something like Journey, and they're like, "This isn't bad music. I like this." So and they're more into they're the other end of the newer stuff, like Bruno Mars and Walk the Moon and all these bands that you hear on the pop stations and stuff now. But they're just Journey's one of those bands that has tested the time and is still to this day, putting out great music and it's just a legacy band as far as I'm concerned. So. Well, I'm gonna put you on the spot just a little bit. So years of traveling, years of playing in different groups. Any crazy story that if you can? I mean, I'm sure you have plenty of them, but anything that's family friendly that you can share, if you will, of crazy things that have happened on the road.
Did you say great things?
Crazy things.
Crazy things.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go for Jimmy. Yeah.
So. Okay, interesting story. Let's see. How do I frame this? I wasn't planning on telling these. This is usually after the gig when we're sitting around laughing.
Go for it.
We're in a touring band and we're on the road and we're heading into Upper Michigan, right? We get about halfway into the trip, right? And of course the old truck breaks. We ride in the truck. And so at that point, we're like, okay, well, we're halfway there. If we're gonna make any money to get out of this thing, we're gonna have to go ahead and go all the way to the rest of the gig. So tow truck comes, puts the big moving van, big truck, puts it on the hook, and we jump in this band van that we got. And I mean, we're stinky, man. You know, it's hot. You know, we're going into Upper Michigan, and we're going like 8-9 hours. You know, with the truck on a hook, and all of us crammed into this van, so tight that, you know, it looks like this, and just trying to make it up there so we can make enough money to fix this truck and go home. So anyway, we end up getting up there, and you know, after 2 weeks of eating on an Italian restaurant tab because we had no money after that, we finally sold what was left of the truck and you hauled home. So that's an early fun, yeah. That's one for the memory books, you know. So, but yeah, I pulled that one. That's a good one to remember, you know.
How about you, Jason? Any stories?
I'm more limited than him because Jimmy got me started. So yeah, Jimmy's been going for decades.
Yeah,
I've been going for years.
I'm sure there's a couple of them. Jason. You can come up with
do you remember any of them?
Do I remember
any of our since I've been on?
I don't think so, man. Yeah. This is a tame crew compared.
Well, we
to
could tell worship leader stories, but that's a discussion for another time because I know that.
I mean, I have to keep it really clean because in case anyone from my congregation sees this,
so
not the story.
Yeah, but anytime you get a group of people together, you're gonna have stories to tell, and that's part of it. So,
yep,
you got.
Well, awesome. So tell so you guys you play some with the other groups as well, and kind of perform it, you know, as different bands. If people wanted to check out a little bit more about some of the other stuff that you guys do beyond New Horizons, what's the best way for them to find out about that?
Soundscape Entertainment is a website that we put together. Jason did the work on it, and it basically links all of our bands, all the things that we do, shows where we're playing, and if you've subscribed to that, then you'll see, you know, everywhere that our bands are, you know, all the stuff that we're playing. We always put up, you know, graphics that show, you know, what the next show is and who's going to be there and so on. So Soundscape Entertainment with a K.
Right? Soundscape with a K.
Right? Because there's
Soundscape-entertainment.com.
So zillion other soundscapes. So with a K, you know, that's the way.
You'll see videos of all the other bands. So you can see what they're like and that kind of stuff. So, and
we get people that are contacting us all the time. They're like, "Oh, we got a Zeppelin band or a Floyd band, man," because they think we're kind of more like a proper booking agency. But we've really put this together, and we have all these bands, and so they just think that we're taking on bands, and it's like, no, this is really kind of an exclusive boys club here. Love to help. If we can help, we will. But we're not looking to bookers per se, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, again, it's coming up this Saturday at the Markay Cultural Arts Center. $15 tickets in advance by either calling or getting them at the box office. $20 the day of the show. It starts at 7 o'clock. Anything else you guys want to share with us tonight before we let you
go? Just praying to God for good weather.
Yeah.
On the way down?
Yeah. I see all this stuff that's coming, and I'm just hoping, man. We're just, you know.
Well, I've been following it myself. I'm kind of like a little curious about it as well. But it looks like hopefully by Saturday everything should be good. So we should be in good shape. So we'll be sending vibes and prayers up that way. But thanks again for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you guys Saturday night, and looking forward to a great show.
We will bring the show.
It'll be fun.
We will bring the
show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.